The MGB story does not end here though, because in an unprecedented move, British Motor Heritage acquired all the moulds and tools needed to remanufacture complete MGB shells. Some 8 years after production had ceased, new body shells were again available to restorers. At the British Motor Heritage factory, we talked to Phil Payne about what is involved in making an MGB body shell. Phil, which body shells are in production now?
Whilst they've all of them, all 13 variants that were ever produced by British Leyland at the MG factory are in manufacture here. If you take early or late cars, hand of steering, the engine type, whether it's a Roadster or a GT, you get to 13 derivatives, and all of those are in production here. Our only limitation, Steve, is that if we build a very early car, not prior to 1967, then we need to ask the customer to provide the gearbox tunnel for that body shell. You know, we even have one variant in production here that was never in production at BL, and that's the combination of V8 engine in a Roadster, but we have that now.
And these are all built on the original tooling?
They are. All of the fixtures and the assembly equipment was transferred from the Abingdon factory following the closure of it in the 80s.
It's not just body shells that British Heritage make, is it?
Oh no, a whole range of panels, whether in steel or in aluminium, are made by us for aftermarket fitment, as well as a whole range of bored out parts, hard tops, mechanical parts, etc.
And the components that you buy in, are they still made on the original tooling?
Wherever possible, yes. Now, overwhelmingly, that is the case.
And if they're not, then you have reference parts that you can check them against?
Well, this is true.
Okay, perhaps we can go and have a look at a shell being made.
Let's do that.
Phil, where are the panels themselves made?
Well, the press shop is in Newcastle, and all of the original dies were transferred up there in the 1980s.
So Phil, what's happening here?
So the first job is to make up the front and rear sub-assemblies, and you see Pete here is welding the rear chassis leg to the boot floor. So here's the front end assembly. What you see Robert doing is fitting the bulkhead and the dashboard assemblies. When it's finished, this assembly will be transferred to the main framing jig. Here at the main framing jig we see Malcolm and John fitting the rear wing assembly.
Phil, is this the order that the shells were assembled in on the full production line?
The work assignment for each person is now much larger than it used to be. One body every 5 minutes is now one body every 2 hours. But it's critical that we follow the process, the original process, faithfully. So the answer is yes. The order in which we weld the body together is exactly the same process as employed at MG.
Will a reshelled car be able to keep its original number plate?
Well, actually that's quite complicated. Generally yes, but please, before you set out on your project, please refer to our website where there is a page which explains the full rules. If you prefer, you can ring in for a fact sheet.
How can a British Motor Heritage shell be identified, Phil?
We give each body a unique serial number beginning BMH. From that, we keep records and we can easily tell which date any body shell was manufactured. We're now inside the welding booth where a turnover jig is employed to give complete access for TIG welding. And we can see here that Mick is welding the engine mounts. After TIG welding, the final operation to achieve the monocoque is the fitting of the shroud top, and you see here Mark doing just that.
I think the parts availability is now so good for an MGB, it would be possible to build a brand new one. Did British Motor Heritage ever think about reintroducing the car?
Well, I agree that parts availability is good, but look, it's not practical, and legislation wouldn't allow us to build that car again now anyway. But of course, in 1992, Rover did just that with the RV8 model.
The RV8 was virtually hand-built and ended up sharing very few parts with the MGB. The front and rear were very different, while the wings were reshaped to accommodate wider alloy wheels. Power came from a 3.9 litre version of the Rover V8, producing 190 brake horsepower and enabling the RV8 to reach 136 miles an hour. There was a very luxurious interior in keeping with the price of £26,000. About 2,000 RV8s were built.
The final and most skillful stage in the manufacture of the body shell is fitting the closures to get just the right fits and panel gaps. Dick here is fitting up the door.
Phil, what rust-proofing measures are applied to the body shells?
All of those now used in modern automotive industry. For example, the steel we use from British Steel is zinc-coated at source. The painting process it employs the electrophoretic full immersion process, whereby the stiction of paint to steel is absolute. Water-based white primer is used, and all seals are sealed using modern sealant.
Are the body shells available without the doors, boot and bonnet?
No, they're not. Overwhelmingly, the demand is for that process, the fitting of the doors, the bonnet and the boot lid, to be done here by our very skilled people.
Phil, thanks very much for showing us around today.
Steve, it's my pleasure. And if anyone wants more information about British Motor Heritage or its network of specialists, you're very welcome to look at our website or give us a ring.